So let's.
Was it the mic or is it my voice?
You do have a voice. You have a good radio voice.
Really good, wait, do that one more time.
I thought I sounded terrible. I hate my voice usually.
No, that's good.
Just make sure you talk in. Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm raising the game. You gotta let him do his natural.
Oh, do your natural thing. Don't listen to me.
Right.
Go ahead.
I'm not my brother. I gotta get used to the microphone.
Yeah, he likes to be behind the microphone.
Yeah.
No, in front of the
Behind the
drywall.
behind the drywall.
Behind the drywall.
All right, Fig, let's bring it in.
Welcome back for another episode of HodgePodge. I'm Fig.
Oh, I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
That's Tom.
And wait.
I'm Chris.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow. It's a little weird. It's a little weird.
It's a little bit strange.
A little bit strange.
It's a little bit funny
to have Chris.
So once again, I raise up your level for you to peak immediately when you say yeah. I think I could be a little louder. You think I could be louder?
Now I'm like, now you can't even hear me.
No, you sound great.
Yeah.
We all sound the same level to me.
I'm watching. We gotta talk. I'm watching it.
You're watching me?
Yeah, and you
I
have
can't hear myself in my headphones then.
There must be a disconnect.
That's literally impossible. Okay. So on the subject of us keeping promises, this is another promise we kept. We have our first guest.
Very first guest.
I'm very excited. I've never done a podcast before. I listened to many.
We're happy to have you here.
Listen, like we said last week, we have between 1 and 7 million viewers. We can safely say. So just remember that as we're talking.
Yeah.
1 and 7.
Between 1 and 7 million.
No.
We don't know.
That's a big gap.
Well, I like to cast a wide net.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't know. It's a true statement.
I mean, 1 million is great.
Yeah.
7 million is very good, but
1.
it's equally as true, though, right?
Yeah, that's great. No, I'm very excied. I'm going to look into it.
We ain't fibbing.
I'll do the research for you.
So, Chris is a huge horror fan. Is that safe to say?
Fan, yes. Not an expert by any means. Just
so besides,
lots of homework.
I don't think any of us are experts at anything.
No.
Yeah.
I'm a jack of all trades, master of definitely none.
I am a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
I can do a lot of nothing.
I mean, I'm good at not leaving my house.
That's me too. Me too.
Horror movies.
That's why we have the podcast
kind.
here, because the guy, they're like, hey, come over. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Come to my house.
I think he's been to my house a handful of times. Literally.
Couple of fires.
1 handful.
Maybe half a handful.
Maybe half a handful.
But at least for me, I thought it was a good place to start as the first guest because I personally am terrified of most horror movies. Let's be honest.
Me equally.
Fig, we were just talking before the podcast. Fig is not as terrified. You have maybe a little bit more of a centralized fear.
I don't fuck with clowns.
That kind of centers around clowns.
Quick plug for yourself.
Yeah. But you write comic reviews for Multiversity Comics.
Yep, multiversitycomics.com. I don't get paid to do it. It's just out of the love.
Nice.
Awesome. The guys over there are awesome. They I reached out to them because they put out like an ad like looking for staff writers. And I reached out to them, and I sent them a couple pieces that I'd written like on my blog, and I had written for a few years ago. I wrote reviews for horrormovies.ca.
Which
is a cool little site. It's a little Canadian site .ca, but they're one of the most followed around the world. So
nice.
So that kind of got me noticed a little bit.
Cool. And your Instagram's awesome too.
My Instagram,
Tales from the Chris Tales. Tales _from_the_.
We'll have.
Yep.
I will definitely make sure to have it down.
Right, but I'm saying for people that are listening,
in the description,
Tales from the Chris, which is it's fantastic. So he'll just like he talked about with his really good reviews or good discussions about what he's picking up, what he's watching, what he's reading. So definitely give that a follow.
Quick little reads. Yeah. It's Instagram.
Yeah, but
I love doing that actually.
It's great.
I love little blasts, like reviews.
And you're not private, right? You're public, so anybody can follow him. So definitely give it a follow. It's great.
Hashtags out the ass so people find me.
So do we.
Being on here, you're probably going to get anywhere from 1 to 7 million followers following you.
So so I post horror stuff. I post anything I'm watching that I think is cool.
Yeah.
Stuff I'm reading.
Right.
Stuff I ate earlier.
Oh yeah, stuff you cooked. You just posted something you cooked, which was fantastic.
I post my food when I feel it's worthy of posting.
Yeah.
I post pictures of my wife, my cats.
Nice.
So pretty much it's
Instagram.
It's a quadruple thread. I don't know if it's kind of too general to kind of jump into it, but why horror? What got you started? Was there a specific movie? Was there a specific genre? how old were you when you started? I just kind of want to dive into where this all started, at least for you.
Definitely as a child.
As a child, under 7.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Same.
It's
No,
definitely. I think it's
Go.
it's in my DNA. It's in my wiring. My parents are big like horror, sci-fi genre fans.
Okay.
So it's definitely there. My mom's a huge Stephen King fan. So it I think it just got passed on to me.
Pet Cemetery.
I actually just read that book for the first time. It's really good.
Who wrote that? I'm joking.
So was there a specific movie you remember watching? That kind of
not really. I know my dad showed me Ghostbusters when I was 3.
So 3. So
when
let
I
me
was
ask you a question. You would consider that a horror film?
Not definitely. I mean, it's horror comedy.
Hell yeah, but the first 10 minutes, still to this day, the reason I actually like Ghostbusters 2,
spooky stuff.
as much as I like Ghostbusters 1, because the first Ghostbusters with the library scene with the ghost in the library is terrifying.
That was a scary scene.
She scared the crap out of me.
Scare the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, I found it more horror, less comedy. Oops, sorry.
No,
More
absolutely. It was actually I know the story. I don't remember obviously because I was 3, but my mom went out to do whatever moms do when they're out.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, "Oh, put on Ghostbusters and see how it goes."
Yeah.
And,
See how it goes.
Luckily, you loved
I
it.
was jazzed.
Yeah.
My mom came home. I just ran up to her and was like, "Dad showed me Ghostbusters. I'm all into it."
Yeah.
That was a huge deal for me and my brother.
Yeah.
And my sister too. She's a little bit younger, but that was a huge thing for us growing up. And then I think like all like late 80s, 90s kids, I got into Goosebumps and the Scary Stories books.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Yes.
Yeah. Those are coming
Which
back.
they're going to come out.
I am
They're
excited
come out with
for
the
that.
It's going to be a movie.
Guillermo del Toro is doing that.
Yeah.
Producing.
Producing.
I don't know who the director is. I don't recall.
I don't know.
Oh, I thought he was directing. See, that's he's producing.
Yeah, he's got his hands in the creative juices.
Is it Benicio del Toro?
I don't think they work together.
Guillermo del
Benicio
Toro
and Guillermo.
Benicio.
Is Benicio Mexican? I know Guillermo is Mexican.
I don't know.
No, I don't think Benicio's
Maybe they're
Mexican.
like distant relatives and we just don't know.
Yeah, right.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I never
Maybe they're
actually
the
put
same
those
people.
two together, both being Del Toros. Oh, the Del Toro family's here. Del Toro party of 2.
Yeah, I know I saw Jaws at an early age.
Oh my god.
But I'm actually alive because of that movie.
Oh, see?
My parents
Please divulge.
My parents met because of Jaws. So back in the day when Jaws first came out, it's like the first blockbuster.
Yeah.
My mom was a manager at the movie theater over at Middlesex Mall that used to be there.
Yes. Yeah.
And because of the huge crowds coming in to see Jaws, they had to hire more people.
Yeah.
And my dad had recently moved into the area and he went in for a job and my mom hired him.
Yeah.
Bing bong boom.
They say most marriages
That's how
take
you
place
were
in the
born.
workplace.
That's how they met. And
60%, they said.
60?
60%, I believe. 60% of relationships that start at work end up in marriage.
60%
Of the ones that
time,
start
100% of the relationship.
Work every time.
2/3 of the time
Yeah.
divided by 5
So if
times 2.
if we go really
works
deep
out.
with it, it's in his blood.
Yeah.
It's in his blood.
It's
Yeah.
in my blood.
Like since he was negative.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Since he was negative age.
Not even a twinkle in your mother's eye.
Right.
Are you into gore or are you into...
I did want to talk about that. I'm into gore when it serves a
purpose.
proper purpose. And when
Nice.
it
Good point.
matches the type of movie that they're trying to tell, like
could you give me an example of something that they don't use or
Like
they
gore
use
for gore's
they
sake?
use gore for a proper reason?
Evil Dead 2013,
Okay.
which is a remake
Yeah.
or a spin-off depending on how you look at it.
Okay.
Of the
Of the original Evil Dead series.
Right.
Absolute bloodbath.
I've seen it.
I love it
Yeah.
so fucking much. I saw it twice in theaters. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
But when you take gore like that and you put it into maybe like a simple slasher, like if the original Halloween
Okay.
was super gory, I think it would lose so much of the overall effect
Right.
that you get from it.
Can I tell you a
it's a
secret?
little movie.
That's true. That's a good point.
Can I tell you a secret? I've never seen Halloween.
The first Halloween.
No.
Even I've seen it.
Well, I'm glad that I live really close to you because I'm coming over. We're gonna
Oh
watch
my
it.
god! No, we're not. No, we're not, Chris. Because I am legitimately scared of horror films.
Well, let me. I'm gonna keep it in the Halloween family.
Okay.
For example, where I feel like sometimes gore and a style of story don't really match is Rob Zombie's Halloween, which was a remake.
Never saw it.
It's pretty good. You're gonna get a lot of people that hate it. A lot of people love it. But I think it kind of moves too far into the gory realm.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hold up the way.
That's his style. That's what Rob
totally
Zombie
his
aims
style,
for.
and
Always over the top of core.
Well, he made what was it?
100%. I'm a fan of a
House
bunch
of
of his
1,000
movies.
House of a Thousand Corpses.
House of a Thousand Corpses. Yeah.
Like was that movie
Doubles.
also that kind of?
House of a Thousand Corpses is kind of like his love letter to horror as a whole. So you're gonna see a lot of nods and similarities to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Hills Have Eyes,
Right.
Especially like those like southern redneck. He loves redneck horror,
Yeah.
and that's
he's
totally
a
his
redneck
thing.
zombie, right?
Yeah, that's totally his thing.
That's what I thought he was.
Yeah.
That's what I thought he was.
And I am a fan of some of his movies. I don't hate his Halloween by any means.
Yeah.
But I think it doesn't hold up the way it would have if he went more for like kind of similar style to like what the original had,
Right.
which is very very little gore, very little blood.
It was more of setting the mood.
Yeah, it had
Yeah.
more substance to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the story.
Yeah.
I mean, when you were growing up, you, Fig,
Yeah.
were growing up, and you said that there's specific movies you can't do. We already know your fear of clown purposes. You have no point. He sees no point to clown purposes.
No point to clown
Right,
purposes.
that's a
Yeah,
shout
yeah,
out to episode 3, I think.
How do you feel about clowns, Chris?
I don't find them that scary,
Yeah,
like,
me neither.
like at all.
Yeah.
I watched it when I was like 5 years old.
Well, there you go.
Well, and that
Well,
did
you
it for
fucked
him.
it up for yourself.
That's-
Yeah, and
Because
that's
Pennywise, the Tim Curry Pennywise, I mean, sure, the new
Horrifying.
it was scary as
Yeah.
well, but the Tim Curry was terrifying.
Yeah.
Those teeth
Ugh,
were
those
terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those teeth were terrifying. But
Well,
was there any
never saw
movies
it.
that you watched, Fig, as a kid that you grew up and you're like, oh, they're not that
Chris.
bad?
I mean, I wasn't really scared of that many movies. Like Child's Play was okay.
Child's Play, baby.
Like the one that really maybe got me a little bit when I was younger was Freddy,
that one.
just because of the whole, once again, the concept
Nightmare on Elm Street.
of going to sleep and something happened to you in your sleep. For a while, I didn't want to sleep.
Yeah.
But other than that kind of stuff,
The only thing that happens
really.
to Tom when he sleeps is the apnea.
yeah,
That's a horror in itself.
yeah, it's a hard.
Maybe that's why I can't
You know
watch
what? That first Nightmare on Elm Street holds up so
It does.
well.
It's still-
such a
it's
good
still
movie.
very good.
It's such a good movie.
I see. Now I don't know. When I was a kid, I was too scared to watch that, and I'm not sure if it's now. Like as I get older, if it's because I was scared to watch it that I'm scared to watch it, or if I'm still truly scared to watch it. I don't know. I really haven't tried. There's a lot. I've seen Halloween, but there's a lot of those big movies, and I think we've said it before. Even when it came to things like Star Wars, there's a lot of movies that I haven't seen that I should have.
Right.
And horror movies are a big part of that.
Yeah, me too.
Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm sure in my life I've seen parts of all of them.
Yeah.
But to sit down and purposely watch the movie from front to back,
So
I don't
good.
think I've done it for a lot of them
They're good.
because it scares me.
And that's actually a question I wanted to ask you is, you think of like all these classic horror movies that we saw when we were younger, the Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, all of those. I feel like, me personally, that they don't make the movies to that caliber anymore. But then again, it could be something that I've never heard of. It could be things that are just not getting the attention that they deserve.
Oh, totally.
Do you feel
totally.
the same, or do you think that there's more stuff now coming out that?
Well, I look at everyone looks at the 80s as like the golden age of
Yeah.
horror.
Mm.
You had good stuff before it, you had good stuff
course.
after it. I don't know if I think it's a romanticizing of the era
Okay.
a lot of times because there is a lot of like cheesy B stuff that kind of squeaks past. Like now people would call it garbage, but now like everyone's got the rose colored glasses when it comes to a lot of things.
Yeah.
But there's also there's a lot of charm to those movies, which I think helps raise up its quality.
Yeah.
So you're looking at it as, yes, it's a horror movie. Yes, it's corny. It's like robots,
Look at
whatever.
something like
aliens.
Critters or Gremlins
Exactly.
or something like that.
Critters.
Well, hold
Yeah,
up.
Is that a
it's
movie?
terrifying.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Gremlins is a classic.
Yeah.
Critters is a shitty knockoff.
Gremlins I've seen.
Wait,
and
Critters is a movie?
Yes.
Yeah, there's 4 of them.
Yeah.
And,
4 Critters movies?
and coming this year.
Yeah.
Really?
New TV series.
Yeah.
Seriously?
On,
Yeah.
on the Shudder streaming app.
Is it like Tremors?
No,
No.
Tremors.
Tremors is all right.
Tremors is sick.
Tremors is
awesome.
all right.
Burt Gummer.
Yeah.
Burt Gummer, where they had like they were spawning these little almost like bird-looking ones, and they called them ass blasters because they like blasted fire out of their ass, right, or something.
I love those.
It was they were called ass. It's like me writing. It's like the movie you wrote last week that you want. Your Matrix
Great movie.
ripoff.
It was a great movie.
It's like, let's see, ass blasters. Okay, now we're getting
Let
somewhere.
me get something straight. That was not a Matrix ripoff. Okay, it's
What was it called?
I don't know what it was called. I didn't have a name for it, but we kind of have a working title called Tom
The Matrices.
Robot Mystery Girl.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Right? I think that
Wait,
was it.
Tom :
Robot Mystery Girl.
Yes.
Yeah, but colon is spelled out.
Yeah, COLON.
Yeah.
His name is Tom Colon.
It's Tom *S written out Robot Mystery Girl.
Tom's. Okay.
Tom's
okay.
Robot Mystery Girl. Yeah. It's good. It's gonna be a good movie.
I thought you were calling yourself Robot Mystery Girl.
Oh no, so did I. And I think until just now he was.
Like
I was.
Just like Alita Battle Angel.
I was,
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
what it was. That's what it
Tom
was.
Robot Mystery Girl.
Yes, that's exactly it. But the thing is, now talking about it, it has to be Tom's Robot Mystery Girl.
Which I think is more of a medical documentary than it is a horror movie.
It's gonna be such a shit show from what I hear.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a shit
yeah.
show.
Not a Matrix ripoff,
No.
even though everybody in the Matrix is in it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a literal shit show.
The cast of
The characters of the Matrix?
the characters,
Or the cast?
the characters
You got-
of the Matrix are going to be the
you got-
doctors finding the mystery girl, the robot mystery girl, in my colon.
So is it Keanu Reeves or is it Neo?
Neo.
Okay.
And Carrie Ann Moss as Trinity with the leather.
Right.
A lot of creaking.
I get it. So Tom's robot battery mystery
Battery?
mystery rabbity girl.
Wow.
Colon is just a descriptor of the girl.
Yes.
She's a colon girl because she's in your colon.
Yes.
No. Yes.
Like a mole woman.
Yes.
Like a little mole woman.
Wild stuff.
All right.
Okay, let's get back on
All
topic.
right.
I'd give that 3 out of 5 things.
Do it.
What were we talking about?
Nice.
What were we talking about? I asked you. Is there horror movies as a
BR.
kid?
BR.
Yep.
Well, no. As a kid, was there horror movies besides it that you were scared about, but a movie that you were able to watch, like that you recall enjoying? I don't know.
No,
like,
I mean,
do you enjoy?
I do literally enjoy watching.
No, I know as an
horror
adult,
movies.
but I'm saying back then because he's talking Jaws, he's talking
Yeah.
Ghostbusters. I watched Ghostbusters, so I can.
Really, Tremors I would watch whenever it was on TV. It was always on
Yeah.
USA.
Yeah.
I'd always have to stop and watch that.
That's not really horror though.
No, I'm not really. No, I mean,
Like I'm talking like he was saying Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't know if I've ever fully
You know,
seen it.
I didn't see those until middle school, high school. There was kind of a gap. My mom, as much of a fan as horror and stuff as my parents are, they're pretty protective. My mom definitely kept me away from certain
Makes
things.
sense. That makes sense.
But I also feel like she did a really good job of kind of getting me to the right point at the right age. So like Jurassic Park, sort of a horror movie.
Yeah, that's true. No,
came out.
no,
Then it's one of my favorites.
we have a
were-
T-Rex. We have a T-Rex.
We were like 6 years old when that came out.
Yeah, I guess so.
And I didn't see it until I was about 10. It was like right before Lost World came out, and we sat down,
Yeah.
we watched as a family, and
I definitely saw it on VHS.
I loved it.
So did I. But I can say because for using an example from that movie specifically, when they first stop in front of the T-Rex cage, the power goes out. And they have the goat standing out there, and she's like, "What happened to the goat?"
Yep.
And the goat leg drops on top of the. That freaked me. I couldn't watch it. It still gives me. It
What's
still
the matter,
gives me
kid? You
chills.
never had lamb chops?
And then him getting gobbled up off of the toilet.
was
That was
such-
scary,
I was
man.
such
I'm
a fan
saying.
of
Yeah.
dinosaurs.
I couldn't go poop for years.
Even the
after that.
opening with the raptor in the cage and eating
Yeah.
the
You're
the,
saying
the dock worker.
What were you saying,
I'm
Fig?
saying is I wasn't that scared of it because I was
Back then?
I was such a fan of dinosaurs. I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I found it more interesting.
I think I agree with that. I don't think I
don't
was
think-
really scared
I
of
was
the
scared.
dinosaurs.
There's the tension.
wasn't
There's
there.
there's
It's tension.
tension.
It was-
You're like,
yeah.
ooh, this is like spooky.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is it gets the heart going, but
Right.
you're not up for a week with
Right.
nightmares.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. That I remember as a kid not being able to watch that part. That part specifically just freaked me out.
Yeah.
And I wonder why. Like I was gonna do. I didn't have enough time to do the research, but the interesting question when we were gonna have Chris on was why are scary movies scary? I think that's a fantastic question. So in other words, why is he like, yep, I like this, and here's why, and he can break into the the art form of it. And for me, I'm freaked out.
Well, there's totally movies that I watch like they're like they're a comfort food. I'll sit down, I'll throw on Friday the 13th or something, and like they're not scary, they're fun.
For
watch
you,
it.
they're not.
For you, they're not. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for real, I think I'd still be scared.
All right.
Jump scares are not my thing.
I know plenty of people that I like show stuff to, and they're like, "Oh my god, what are you doing to me?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like this hasn't been scary since I was 11."
Yeah.
But then there are movies that come out that scare the shit out of me.
Like.
And,
so that's one of my questions. What scares you? That's to me, that's a fantastic question.
So
what scares the non-scared person?
for everybody watching, this is what you don't want to watch. If it scares Chris,
so watching like
Toy
the
Story?
first, oh my
Got
god,
me.
when those toys come along,
I know. Oh, so scary.
like the first Conjuring movie,
Yeah, that was good.
stuff like that.
is that the one where?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't watch. I couldn't
I've
watch.
never seen that, and I will never.
So,
I
like-
can't. The trailer scares me.
So like I'll watch it now, and like it doesn't really get to me. But when I see a movie like that, what I personally do because I feel so desensitized a lot of times,
Mm-hmm.
I will get myself in the mindset of this is scary. I'm watching it as if it were real.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You're trying to build up
Whether
a
you
scare
whether
for
you
yourself.
whether you believe in ghosts or not,
Yeah.
I want to get into that mindset and be like, all right, there's a ghost, a demon, whatever. It's in the house. It's fucking with these people. There's little kids. Let me get into it and be scared. And that's a well-made movie. A lot of people, it's one of those that most people like it, but there's gonna always be people out there that, it's not scary.
No, I agree. I think The Conjuring was probably one of the better scary movies that they came out with recently.
Yep.
And I do a good job of that as putting myself in the movie. Whatever movie it is, like if I'm watching a Kung Fu movie, I'm going to be in it and I'm going to want to do Kung Fu afterwards.
Right.
That's just what I am.
Yeah.
I know Kung Fu.
I didn't even drink my beer.
So I think, for scary movies, I enter into them and I kind of pretend that I'm in it myself. So The Conjuring was one that really got me. I think the one that I really was most recent was The Fourth Kind for me, just because alien movies
I didn't get into
fuck
it,
with me so much.
but I get it.
But it scared me because they presented it as real, and that really does something with me. Correct me if I'm wrong, and again, this is coming from a non-horror fan, so I don't know if I'm right, but I feel like movies in the 80s and those kind of movies, there was jump scares was the way to go, and that kind of scare. Now, to me, what scares me more than anything is just the eeriness of recent horror films.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's something like The Conjuring, something where it's just if they turn the lights off and there's just a silhouette in the hall 30 feet in the background just standing there, that to me is it feels real.
You know what would get you?
I'm saying not a jump scare, but just like the eeriness of something that the audience sees that you don't.
Something like Hereditary would probably freak you the fuck out.
I've been waiting to talk about that. Yes.
Hereditary is the one with Toni Collette.
Toni Collette.
Yeah,
I
little
heard,
girl, right?
And they said it's so good that I would actually probably want to see it, but I don't think I can. It would fuck me up.
She should have been nominated for an Oscar.
Oh,
The girl?
Toni Collette.
Toni
That's the
Collette.
mom, yes.
Yeah.
I saw that movie twice.
Yeah.
In the theater.
Can you do like a brief synopsis of it without spoiling it real quick? Because I
brief
think
synopsis.
if possible.
Family, upper middle class family, having their own real life personal issues.
Yep.
Go through some weird hardships. There's a grandmother passes away. There's weird stuff with grandma's past. That's kind of all you can really get into.
And it's Hereditary.
yeah.
And it's Hereditary.
I'm assuming whatever's Hereditary, it's not like
not
Blue
good.
Eyes.
No.
Okay. God.
But what I really
That's a
liked,
recessive gene. That's
Or like high blood pressure.
Shut up, Tom. Medical colon trauma.
what I really liked about Hereditary was its sense of dread.
Yeah.
It is not a horror movie. It is a dread movie.
that's what scares me the most.
I think so too. Agreed.
It's super. There's supernatural stuff in it.
Yep.
Or possible supernatural stuff.
That's what even scares me more when it's like
so you don't know. 'Cause
Yeah.
a lot of it's like explainable.
Right.
You
It's
kind of
rooted in reality.
Sure,
It's
yes,
presented
yes.
as rooted in reality. That
But
alone is scary.
What messed me up the most was watching this family like fall apart.
Yeah.
With like real world issues.
Right.
Like realistic dialogue, and just the first time I saw it, it was in a theater. I was by myself. There was other people there. It was like, but it was clearly like all like horror nerds. It was like opening night. No, like there's like 6 people in there.
Right.
Very interesting experience that way because I felt like I was in a room with a handful of people that felt about horror movies the way I feel about them.
Right.
We're gonna like dissect it. We're gonna pick it apart. We're gonna
Right.
look at it from a creative standpoint.
Right.
And then the second time I went with a buddy, and the place was packed. It was actually the same night that Ant-Man and the Wasp opened up.
Wow.
And I honestly think there was a full house because Ant-Man sold out.
Sold out. Yeah.
Really?
This was weeks. This was
Right.
weeks into Hereditary being out. So we go, sit down, and I was like, oh, it's a packed house. It's like a Friday. There's going to be a bunch of assholes in here, like,
Right.
laughing at it, and it's not that kind of movie. And the only time I heard laughter was when someone was nervous as fuck watching this movie,
And you could
it
tell
was
it
a
was like,
nervous
yeah.
chuckle, like, oh
Yeah.
my
Like,
god,
oh my god.
right, like what, you
Yeah.
know, what's gonna
Yeah.
happen? But that movie fucked me up for like a couple days.
Yeah.
I like sat and like thought about it, and I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I would watch it again. And then I watched it again in the theater, and then I bought the Blu-ray. So I guess I just like torturing myself.
Yeah, yeah.
But 100% Toni
But-
Collette should have been at least nominated for
She
an
was
Oscar.
really good.
Were you gonna say Fig or no?
No, I was just agreeing.
It makes me want to watch it, but I don't think I can. I just don't think I can. This is a whole
It's not
nother
a jump scare movie either.
Yeah, there's nothing really jump scare.
So that's-
Everything really it eases you very much into the story
Yeah.
to the point where, from beginning to end, you're like, oh my god, like so much happened in the span of however long the movie was that you just you try to grasp everything that happened,
Right.
And like you said, it's a very realistic thing that could.
Yeah, and
Potentially
it just
occur.
makes you feel like shit the
It
whole time
does.
you're watching.
And
it.
you're like,
So that almost it's like why watch it then?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I had a stomach ache for 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's like Requiem for a Dream is kind of like that for me because it just like
It feels
fucks
real.
me up
Yeah.
after watching it. Not a horror film, but like it's still,
There's horror elements to
I
it,
guess,
but
but
it's not a horror. Yeah.
but I feel like you would feel the same way after watching Hereditary. I'm assuming
Kinda, for different reasons.
Yeah.
Like, kinda. Yeah.
you just feel disgusting.
you
after.
feel eerie, like you feel
Yeah,
uneasy.
you feel
You
like
feel off,
uncomfortable.
yeah.
You're like, oh god, what?
And
Yeah.
you said that about you said it about dread, and that's the key I think for
Yeah,
me.
absolutely.
As much as it's the horror, and we already know I can't see breaking bones at all. That freaks me out as it is in real life or in a movie. I don't like bones breaking or not. Limbs not going to.
I got a good movie for you. then.
No, don't even tell me.
I've always wanted to tie in the two together, which horror and sci-fi, because I think they're both completely separate things, but they tie into each other very well. Yeah.
What's the first movie that comes to your head when you think sci-fi horror?
Aliens.
Alien.
Aliens is probably
Yeah,
the first
Alien.
movie.
that's what will come to mind. How about you?
The first Alien.
Yeah.
The first
The
Alien.
first Alien.
Yeah, Alien.
Yeah.
Aliens was really good too, though.
Oh, Aliens is great.
That was
I think
actually-
I'll
it's
give
more
it-
action, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's
Yeah.
scary stuff in it. But yeah,
See,
the first Alien.
I love those movies though.
Something like
Alien's good.
Yeah.
That's a great example.
Now I own a few hundred horror movies.
Yeah.
Like I own like 1,000 something movies.
Yeah.
But a good chunk of my horror collection is horror sci-fi, and it goes from the classics like Alien to like
The Thing.
oh my god, that movie is the best.
I honestly haven't seen any of those.
That's a movie that takes me back to like video store days.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of like where my horror education came in. Like
Working at Blockbuster.
I never worked at one.
You didn't?
No.
I did.
I feel like you
You
should
did?
have.
Yeah.
I feel like you really should have like worked at a
Yeah.
Blockbuster, Easy
Yeah,
Video.
I never did because it was like one of those things like I get to go in, I get to get my movies and
get
go
out.
home.
Yeah.
But yeah, middle school, high school, I would go like in on the weekend and just come home with like 8 movies. Like
Yeah.
that's how I saw like all the Nightmare on Elm Streets because I would just rent all of them in one clip, all the Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
And I just went nuts. And especially like when DVDs came out. You know, we're dating ourselves.
Yeah.
But when DVDs came out and like VHS rental prices dropped, I would go in and get like 8 VHS tapes.
That's
For like
right.
$1. I remember
For, like,
that.
That's a great point. The interesting time where there were still DVDs and VHSs.
Yeah.
And then I would get like the new release on
Yeah.
DVD.
Yeah.
So like whatever the new horror movie was,
Right.
like at the time, like Scream 3 or whatever was
Yeah,
new
yeah.
at the time, like I would get that on DVD and everything else would be VHS.
Yeah.
I'd have the dual player,
They used to be
and
the
I would just
best.
that would be my weekend. I was like,
Was it the
14.
dual player with the
DVD and the VHS?
the tube on top?
No. I had a separate unit hooked up to the TV.
man, the dual. You got to have the dual so you can copy your DVDs to videotape and vice versa. Probably. I think there should be homework for me, which is the next time we should definitely have him on.
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Not saying that we're wrapping up, but we should have him on again. He should tell me one movie to watch, and I should watch it, and then report back my findings of how much I peed myself.
If we could find you afterwards.
if I pooped
I
myself.
definitely want to get you in through some classics,
No.
100%. There's some really good. There's some good new movies out there, like Hereditary.
I'd watch it.
I made a list. Maybe.
Yeah, you get it, get it.
Break out the list.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Fig.
But that kind of brings me back to what he was saying about like Blockbuster in those days, where it was. I remember Friday nights I'd go into Blockbuster and just peruse and be like, I'll take that movie. I'll take that, and I'd walk out with 6 movies for the weekend. I'd be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'd return them all
Just burning
Sunday.
through them.
And it was because like obviously Jason used to work there, and I think Leo worked there for a little bit also.
Yep.
You just walk in, you talk to them, say, hey, anything new? Go to the horror section, just go in alphabetical order. I remember getting Leprechaun 1, 2, and 3 at one point, and just watching all the Leprechauns in the weekend. It was just
No, I have to say, I don't know about you as much. I mean, I guess so, but I know obviously how much content you take in, how much movies you watch, TV shows, and we talked about it before. But Fig is the same way. Fig, because you have the opportunity to really on the buses,
yeah,
you
I got
take in a lot of content.
3 hours
Just
a day.
in general, I don't watch much, especially movies. I don't watch many movies.
I don't know how I do it, to be
Yeah.
honest. I sound like a lunatic.
No. And I'm
sound
not
like
saying
a-
like because I fill my content. I probably play more video games than anybody here.
And
And I watch hours of nonstop
repackaging,
iPhone and
unboxing
yeah, iPhone
videos.
unboxing
And
videos.
What?
That's a whole nother
And
podcast.
I've cut back considerably on video games, and it's literally I don't have that drive anymore. Like I totally used to, and it comes in waves. Like I played the shit out of that Crash Bandicoot reboot, like the remaster.
Yeah.
And then there's a few things. A couple years ago, Alien Isolation.
Yeah, that game was good.
Was it good?
See, you would like
Did you-
that game.
Did you play that?
Yeah,
I'm surprised you got through it.
I played it. I played it a little bit and then watched my roommate play it. And for some reason, I'm not as scared when I'm watching him play it.
Absolutely terrifying.
It's
Absolutely
crazy.
terrifying.
You got this
It's a simulation of what you would do in that circumstance.
Really?
with
Basically,
the,
it's a
Alien Loose.
It's a first-person alien nightmare. And actually, I've recently replayed it. It doesn't give the same scare that it did the first time around, but it holds up.
Is it because you already know what's going to come, or
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'd give it a once over.
I have it.
You give it a quick look.
Once over.
Yeah, quick look.
The PS4.
Yep, I'll get it.
You got
Or
a
I'll borrow
PS4?
it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can have it. You can borrow it.
So you're gonna run us through a list of your
Oh yeah, so there's
top favorites,
some-
or
some recent favorites, and recent I mean like in the last 15 years.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Um,
I'm down with that.
So
2000s.
100% The Descent from 2006.
I don't even know what that
that
is.
was a good one.
It's about a group of women they're from like all parts of the UK, England, Scotland.
Okay, coming back
they,
to me.
They go spelunking.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. That's
and
right. They go
there's-
spelunking.
And that is one movie that touches on real terror, like being down in a cave that you're unfamiliar with, claustrophobia.
Yeah.
And then there's a supernatural terror.
Did
Try
that
not to give
come out-
spoilers away,
Yeah.
just in case people haven't seen
Yeah.
it.
That
but-
came out very close to the time that Mimic came out, correct?
Mimic was earlier, I think.
Was it earlier?
Mimic was 97.
Wow, was
Look at
that
this
old?
guy.
Guillermo del Toro, baby.
Wow. That was so
Benicio
long
or
ago.
Guillermo?
It was one of the two Del Toros.
Yeah, it was Guillermo.
One of the Dos Del Toro.
That's one of his
Del
first
Toro-
movies.
One of the Dos Del Toros.
But yeah, that was like 97.
Okay.
I'm crazy with certain dates
No,
for
that's
some reason.
how he is with wrestling.
That's
Oh.
true. So it's even more useless.
Yeah. Give him a year real quick.
No, don't give me a year.
Yeah,
Give him a year.
give him a
real
year.
quick. Just a year, real quick.
1985 and on.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
What do you?
1993.
1993 was WrestleMania 9 at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. The main event was Bret Hart versus Yokozuna, and then Yokozuna won the title, and Hulk Hogan came out and challenged him, and then Hulk Hogan beat him for the title the same night.
That's it. That's all I wanted to show you.
Yeah.
It's like my parlor trick to tell people just.
The problem is, like, if you get to the later years, because wrestling has started to suck really bad, that's a whole other discussion. But like some of the later years, like
Listen,
recently,
Dan, we
I
didn't
don't
ask
know.
all that. We just wanted.
I'm just saying, I might not know the later years.
So, 2006, The Descent. You have to see it. That's one of those movies I went to the theater with absolutely no idea what it was about, and
Those are my
I
favorite types of movies.
Just loved it. I went with like 8 people.
Yeah.
Shannon Dillon was with me.
Okay.
We were in this big group.
Shout out St. John. What's up, St. What's up, Shannon?
I remember she curled up in a ball in the seat.
Nice.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you watch this.
Nice.
And
not.
I fucking loved every second of it. Not that she was terrified. I just loved the goddamn movie.
Yeah.
But I'm still interested in why there's somebody curled up in the ball versus somebody that just is like, yes, I fucking love
Some
this.
people
I just think
just
that's.
stage it.
I'm
Yeah,
saying
you
I just think that's so interesting.
You just
where
get
we talked about
absorbed
we talk
and-
about roller coasters where you might not like loops and roller coasters, but me it's like no, I'm fine with that. It's just
I love it.
interesting like what
I
the
love that.
chemical makeup is that makes
Yeah.
that happen.
I think it's I think when people are like really scared of movies, it's that they're expecting to be scared, which makes the experience that much worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think anxious people are automatically going to be more anxious to watch a scary movie.
Well then that fits the bill real nice considering the
What's
OCD and the
funny-
anxiety that I live
what's
with.
funny is I suffer from crippling anxiety.
But it
when-
doesn't affect you.
But it doesn't affect
not
you.
in that
Really?
way.
Right.
Not in that way at all. I'm more of like, I don't want to go to work today because I hate everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
I suffer from that too. No,
But
it's one of the many facets.
some
Give me
some
another
more,
one. Give
some
me
more
another one.
recent stuff. Definitely Jordan Peele's Get Out.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah,
was great.
that
So I
was
did see that.
That
was
I saw
fantastic.
that twice too. Just
Yep.
I've
you
watched
know,
that twice too.
just from social commentary aspect, just from being a damn good thriller, that blew me away. I'm super excited for his new movie Us.
It
Totally
looks
scared to see
great.
it.
It just premiered Friday at
I
South
wanna
by
see.
Southwest, and
Yeah.
the
Okay.
reports are saying it's
Phenomenal.
It's
phenomenal.
getting rave reviews.
He's going to be the new Twilight guy too.
Yeah,
Twilight's
Twilight's
Yeah,
in
in.
I am so
Yeah.
excited.
The Twilight guy. You're saying
Oh,
he's
yeah.
starring Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, he's gonna be all glittery and stuff.
Got it. So I don't have CBS All Access, but it's on CBS All Access. That's
Yeah.
where it's going to be
We
housed.
might have to share a subscription.
What is on my mug? I just know that's Alex. Okay,
It's Alex Turner.
I know that chest hair anyway.
Yeah.
Give me another one
Uh,
besides Get Out, which is a great, highly recommend.
So
He listens to this podcast too, so he's
I love
gonna
it.
he's gonna comment on that. That's good. Yeah.
No, really, shout out. Haven't seen you in forever.
Nice chest hair.
The new Suspiria was
new
fantastic,
Suspiria?
which is a remake of Dario Argento's 1977 classic
Suspiria.
Suspiria. It's about a dance school that is a front for a coven of witches. So the first one is very his style was in the 70s was very bright, crazy, technicolor, wackadoo.
Very 70s.
Yes, and it
Yeah.
was part of this Italian movement called Giallo, however you want to pronounce it.
Oh,
it's
it's Giallo.
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 Give it the Jello's treatment. It was like the style. It was just bright colors and bright blood. Like blood looked like this. It didn't look real at all.
Right,
It
right.
was that was the style. It was
Yeah.
So the first one is fantastic. It's weird. It's one of those movies that definitely takes a couple viewings for you to kind of grasp.
I like movies like that.
Yeah, totally. And
Yeah.
the new one was also set in the 70s. It just came out last year, but it goes total 180. It's muted colors. Everything is kind of drab. It's set in like Berlin as opposed. I think they're both in Germany actually, but it's just a totally different style. Same core story,
Yeah.
and it just worked beautifully in two different respects. So
Which one did you like better?
I still like the first one better.
Yeah.
The new one is like 2.5 hours long, so it's a little long, but it moves. It does. I just watched it again the other day because I bought the Blu-ray. But it moves. It doesn't really feel like 2.5 hours.
Right.
It feels like a cool journey. Nick Cage's Mandy, which is a sort of
Someone just told me about that movie.
a sci-fi fantasy.
Nick Cage isn't Nick Cage?
Nick Cage, baby.
Yeah.
Not Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas
Yeah.
Cage.
Really?
Nicolas Cage.
You know,
Formerly
I was like,
Nicolas
what other Nick
Coppola.
Cage
you know,
you know?
you know
I don't know.
Nick Cage.
For some reason, I was thinking Luke Cage, but that was completely
Yeah.
different.
Cage fatality.
I want his face off Nick
Yeah.
Cage.
Yes.
Face off.
Yeah, that's a weird one. It's definitely not for everybody, and I guess it's a horror movie. It's a horror movie. It's a weird like drug cult. He's like a lumberjack up in the northwest, and his wife is kidnapped by this crazy drug cult, and he goes on a murderous rampage to get her back.
Nice.
And it's wild. It is like it is like
As most of his movies are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
this is probably
The bees.
that's a shitty movie.
Not
Yeah,
the
yeah.
bees!
That's a terrible movie.
Not the
There's a lot
bees!
of, like,
This is
scary
the
movies.
most Nick Cageiest Nick Cage of all time.
Have
This
you ever
is-
seen The Vampire's Kiss?
I have, and this beats it.
Really?
This beats it.
Really?
This is Nick Cage if he did like just coke
So Red
Bad
all-
Lieutenant, like Bad Lieutenant.
all
Nick
the
Cage.
time,
Okay.
and just went on like
You
a
know your Nick
murderous.
Cage.
I do.
It's a
That's
it's a-
weird.
it's
I
a-
do know my
yeah.
Nick Cage.
It's a wacky love story
Yeah.
slash.
He's a wackadoo though. So
It's so good. You gotta
It's a
Wackadoo.
you gotta see it. You gotta see it.
It's a wackadoo. There's another one
Go
that
ahead, Fig.
I know I wasn't a big fan of. I don't
Go
know.
for it.
Yeah, go for it.
It Follows.
You know what? It's on my list.
That you didn't like or you did like?
I liked it.
You
a
liked
lot.
it?
I've seen that
couldn't-
one.
I couldn't get into it.
It's not a perfect movie.
It moved very slowly, and there was a lot of things I was like, really? Like, was one of those like when people make stupid decisions.
Okay.
That completely turns me off. And there's a lot of older stuff that's part of
horror
it.
movies are
But
that's
known for
what they're
stupid
based
decisions.
on.
I know, and there's some that can just get away with it. 'Cause I'm like, all right,
I want to get to that when he's
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
I'm like, I get it. I can accept it in certain cases, but for some reason, I expected more from this movie. I was hearing so much more about it. I wasn't expecting it to be just like, okay, it's one of those where people just make stupid fucking decisions again.
Right.
Anyway,
No, that's
okay,
fair. No, that's
yeah.
fair. They make dumb decisions.
There's blood coming down the stairs. Let me go up, check it out.
Yeah.
Kinda. I'm a big fan of the style in that movie, and I like the score a lot. And I'm big on. I like when done well. I like allegories.
Yeah.
So that movie is straight up. It's an allegory about STDs.
Right.
And dying too young.
Right.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Right.
With a monster face. Same thing with like the Babadook. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I've seen that.
That's totally an allegory for depression, mental illness. Again, putting a face to it with a monster,
Right.
like a storybook monster.
Right.
Interesting.
So I'm big on those for those reasons. But I totally get
What were
it's
you
not
gonna,
for everyone.
What were you gonna say about
Making dumb decisions.
Making
dumb
dumb
decisions.
decisions,
Yeah, you have to, and this kind of goes back to what makes a good horror movie good, what makes a bad horror movie bad.
right?
You have to know your audience.
Mm-hmm.
You have to respect your audience's intelligence.
That's with any movie, but
With any absolutely
That's with anything,
any
yeah.
genre.
Mhm.
But I feel like horror falters with that a lot, and that's why I watch a ton of stuff. I see it in the
Right.
theater. I watch it on Netflix. I watch it anywhere I can get it. If I hear about it or I think a title's interesting or a plot is interesting, I check it out. 6 times out of 10, it's a shitty movie.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's one of those things too. It's like horror it's easy to make, it's cheap to make, so you have a lot of people trying it, and I'm all for people trying it, but you have to know what you're doing. You have to learn from your mistakes, and it goes into how you write your characters, and 100%. The people in It Follows, they make dumb decisions because they're teens, they're kids, and they're facing something otherworldly.
So it's almost justified.
Yeah.
No, it is.
In that aspect.
But then you'll watch something else, and I'm not going to come with an example right now, but you watch something else, and the characters are making stupid decisions, and it's either A, because the screenwriter didn't know how to write them as more intelligent characters,
Right.
or just better, well-rounded characters.
you take Scream for instance, but like they do that in Scream, like Scream.
It's totally meta.
Yeah.
It's,
right.
Yeah, and
like
yes,
it's
it was
supposed to
meta.
be.
like
Yeah.
the characters know that. Like
Right.
They're
the
doing
characters know that they're in a horror
Correct.
movie, essentially.
Right.
But yeah, you have characters that are just stupid, and all it does is it serves the purpose to move the plot along.
Right.
You look at something like Piranha.
Right.
Piranha is something like, which it's a scary movie, but there's just so much nonsense in it where
Yes.
there's for no reason there's just someone topless sunbathing because
Right.
they just needed to add a topless woman in the scene
Right,
to kind of
exactly.
Yeah, every movie I've ever written, every script has a topless woman.
Yeah, my
Tom's
Colin.
robot woman, mystery robot girl.
That's That's a hard title. Now you know what? I stuttered over it. That's a hard title.
I mean, it basically
gotta
all
go.
it is just a topless flick.
gotta go.
topless
Flick.
You gotta go
You
through
sound like a
some
creepy.
rewrites.
Yeah,
You sound like a creepy 70s.
maybe one. I don't know.
You sound like you have a robe and just a mustache. It's a topless flick. What are you doing?
Here's my rough draft. Maybe
Yeah.
smooth it out a little bit.
It's
but
just
I don't want
pictures
to change it.
of girls. what is this?
Let's try to put a pin on this. Let's try to put a pin on this if possible. I don't know how that we can possibly wrap this up other than I think that we should have homework.
Yeah, we should.
I think we should have homework and we should report back.
Yeah.
And then we have Chris on again and we go through how it made us feel.
Should we pick
someone
one
who
movie?
doesn't mind horror movies as much besides clowns? Let's not give him a clown movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Someone who is maybe not as scared as me and someone who's pissed their pants scary like me.
We should pick one movie on,
And we watch
on
it?
Chris's list.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch it. Next time Chris is on, if he wants to be on again,
No, you pick it for me. I like. Well, why don't you-
Okay.
you've seen Hereditary.
Okay.
You've seen.
Do you-
you've seen Hereditary.
I would watch.
Do you want to
any
go?
movie
I haven't seen
again.
Hereditary.
Do you want to go newer, or do you want to dive into?
I really should
stuff?
start something classic. Because
I
I did
agree.
ask him. One of the questions I wrote down to ask him was, where should somebody that doesn't watch horror get started? But I think
That's a tough one.
Yeah,
That
I
is
think
a tough one.
I think take it a step. Let's just take it a step further, and one that we know is one of the recent ones you mentioned, or one of the recent ones we've been talking about. That's the one that we should watch. And if it's Hereditary, based on because I've heard things about it, let's just do it.
Yeah, and then we could do like a
A battle post battle report, battle girl mystery robot report battle
Yeah.
post battle.
Tom
Exactly.
Colin hashtag.
Yeah. If you
Colon hashtag.
No, I
You
actually
said Hodge tag. You say
No,
Hodge
it's
tag?
Hodge
I actually have that, but it also Hereditary.
Okay.
But as soon as I bought the Blu-ray, it of course went on Amazon Prime. So if you guys
Oh, nice.
are Prime
Oh, so it's
members-
on Prime.
Yeah.
All right, we
Prime.
should
It's
definitely
even
do
easier
it,
for
yeah.
everybody to watch, and if everybody else wants to watch it, then they could listen to us talk about it.
Yep. It literally like the week after it hit Blu-ray, it went.
Okay,
On the
I
Prime,
think
I
we
was
should
like,
watch it. I think we should watch
Yeah, we should do it.
Okay, all right. So that's a good place to end.
I think so.
Yeah, thanks, Chris, for joining us. Go ahead, take us out there.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of HodgePodge.
I thought you were going to say I'm
say it,
Fig,
Fig.
you know? I was going to say I'm Fig.
I'm Fig.
Okay. You're what?
Dan.
Thick Dan.
Oh, right, I'm Thick Dan.
Thick
That's
Dan.
right, yeah.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Fig Dan Tom Chris.
Yeah, perfect. You fit right in.
Thanks. See
Thanks
you
for
guys.
joining us later, guys.
You son of a bitch.